everyone, it's Glenda and welcome back to my channel, Creative Grandma. I'm here with my grandson, Cody, and today we're doing a yarn swatch video. So before I show you the yarn and the swatches, what I like to do is ask my viewers and subscribers if there's a yarn that you want to see swatches of, let us know. We'll review the comments. Sometimes we don't have time to answer the comments, but we can go down through the comments and glance and see if there's a certain yarn that we have not done yarn swatches on that you want to see. And we'll search for that yarn and try to do a yarn swatch video for you. So make sure in the comments section you tell us any yarn that you might like to see. So Cody, you want to talk about the yarn that we're going to showcase today?
Look here. This is just a taste. This is all the colorways that we're doing today. So let's start with the first one. Which one do you want to do first?
Whichever one you want to do.
All
you
right.
want to tell them about the yarn first and then we'll show them the swatches.
Yes, okay. It's a 3.5 ounce, 100 grams, 147 yards, 134 meters. It's a 4-weight yarn, 100% acrylic, machine wash gentle, lay flat to dry. And let's just start with this one because it's in my hand. It's Blue Lagoon.
And tell them what you think of the feel of the yarn.
I like it. It's
a roving style yarn.
It's soft. It's not like super soft, but it's soft. I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah, now see, to me, I do think it's a soft yarn. It's not silky soft, but
Yeah.
it has a softness to it.
Yes, it's not rough by any means. That's not what I'm implying. It's color number 207AH. And again, here's a close-up. This is so weird being on the other side. I'm not used to it.
Yeah, we changed sides today. We're changing things up. We switched sides. Now this sample, I made this sample and I worked up the whole entire skein. So I do have my tape measure here. I'm gonna have Cody measure it. So as we show the samples with the skeins that we worked up the whole entire skein, we'll give you an idea of how far that skein of yarn went. So this is just a traditional granny square. And again, when you see these samples, you may not like the colorway in this stitch pattern, or you may enjoy this colorway using a different stitch pattern. And we have several different stitch patterns to show you.
Yeah, I mean, it would look totally different if you did a traditional row-to-row design.
Do you want to go ahead and measure that? And we'll see how far that yarn went. And again, this was a full skein of yarn.
It's about 13 by 13.
Yeah, so not too bad. It did it go? No, it almost went the whole way around. We were like a couple clusters short of making that last round.
Yeah.
Now the colors do resemble like a blue lagoon with those deep, rich colors of the blue with a little bit of mossy green in there.
Yeah, I really like this. Now this yarn is more for shawls and hats and scarves more so than I mean, you could make a blanket out of it, but
it's lay flat to dry.
Yeah.
So to me, it's more suitable for beautiful hats, scarves, and like Cody said, maybe a shawl that's manageable to lay flat to dry. So that was the first color.
So I actually got off easy on this video. Normally I make all the samples, but she was already working on these samples because I was working on the last yarn swatches for the last yarn swatch video. So she made 3. I only had to make 2.
I was working on several different projects and I had to get my Lion Brand blanket done, and I just, it seems simple, but the last 2 skeins, I just couldn't find the time to get to the last 2 skeins. And I love doing the yarn swatch videos because it helps people see what these yarns look like worked up. So the next color?
This one feels even softer than the last one.
It could have something to do with the dye, maybe.
Yes.
I don't know.
This is Mountain Range 202AR. Ooh, big fan of this one. Look at that. I just love that.
Yeah, more of a rusty color.
Yeah, it's like a rich dark blue and a rust.
Purple and like a, I'd say royal blue. Just a really pretty shade of blue.
So there's the yarn. She made it an incredibly large, long sample to kind of give you what it would look like if you made a scarf pattern.
I can't remember the stitch pattern I used. Is this my stitch pattern I used? Let me look at this. It's a manly color. It looks good on you. Professor Cody. Okay, I think this was the lemon peel stitch. Let me grab this. Yeah, I think that was made with the lemon peel stitch. And what I was trying to do was I was trying to show you, a lot of times you can make a narrow sample and the colors will look completely different because you're going to have wider stripes. So this is probably, I'm not even sure how long that is. So we'll measure it. Kind of helps you get an idea if you want to make a scarf. How long is that?
48 inches.
48 inches, and it's 4 inches tall. I would say maybe 4 skeins if I'm thinking correctly. How long did you say it was? 48.
Yeah.
So I usually make a scarf 70 inches. So yeah, it's going to take more than I thought. It's gorgeous though. I mean, it's very pretty. And that was the lemon peel stitch, stitch of the week number 67. And I want to remind everyone, if you go on my website, creativegrandma.net, if you go to the top of the website, it'll say stitch of the week. Click that link. It's going to show you every stitch of the week pattern that I have, and they're free to download. You just click on the name of the stitch and the pattern's going to pop up. You can download it and you can print it out right away and you can get started on your project. It's a great way if you're wanting to make a baby blanket or you want to make something and you think, what stitch pattern do I want? It's just a great resource to go in there and find them. And I often recommend get a binder, print them all out, and then you have your own little stitch dictionary. When you're looking for a stitch, you can find one.
That's what I need to do. It's so weird because as I get more advanced into crocheting, I can look at this work and tell how you made it.
He's learning. So this yarn is $6.99 a skein, and there's 6 colors available, and we have 5 of the 6 colors. So I think one of the colors were sold out when I ordered the yarn, so one color you won't be able to see. But as I tell people, if you like a yarn, wait until it goes on sale. Because we just ordered some yarn today, and I check on the official yarns website, no matter what brand it is, and then go, Joann's has some fantastic buys on yarn. We went on and it was actually cheaper to buy our yarn from Joann's than it was from Lion Brand, because if you buy, if you buy 10 or more skeins of that same color, then you got a discount.
I did not know they did that. It was like 20% if you bought 10 or more.
Yeah, and then they had coupons. We did have to add 4 more skeins of yarn onto it, and then we got a, was it 10% or 15? 10% discount, and then we got free shipping.
Yeah.
So it paid to order the extra 4 skeins with the discount and the free shipping. So kind of compare. If you really see a yarn, don't jump right in and buy it. Make sure you compare where the yarns are sold and look for the most affordable price. So that's what we do. So the next color?
The next one is my favorite, hands down. It is gorgeous.
My favorite too. We're so much alike, it's scary. It is. It's really scary.
It is color boardwalk.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Beautiful, bright rainbow, bold colors.
Incredible. I just love this colorway. Look at that.
Yeah, very pretty.
And unfortunately, I didn't have the satisfaction of making this sample. This was one of your samples.
That's the first sample I made.
I always pick when I make samples, I always go from my favorite to my least favorite when I'm crocheting.
And that doesn't mean we did this in the video. We're just showing you as they're laid out on our table. That tells you the stitch pattern I used.
Oh. So she used Stitch of the Week number 210, the tulip stitch.
And I thought this was very pretty because if you wanted to make a scarf, you have to envision all these colors that we're showing you. They would have this type of striping if you use this stitch pattern. And I don't believe, oh, you know what? Did we measure the last sample? Yes, we did.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's measure this sample. So if you wanted to make a scarf, this sample is 8 inches wide, which is about the perfect width for a scarf, and it's 24 inches long. So 24 times 3 would be 72. Yeah, 72. So it would take 3 skeins.
Yeah.
That's not bad. I don't think that's bad. And then you would need a couple extra skeins if you want to make a hat, maybe. But I thought it was pretty. And again, that was the tulip stitch, stitch of the week, pattern 210. But isn't it pretty the way those stripes?
Yes.
It just, the striping. And sometimes I think some of these yarns are geared specifically for scarves. They just have a better look with the, you know, narrow width and then the longer. Yeah, I just thought that was pretty.
Yeah, big fan of this one.
So that was the third sample. We have 2 to go.
Okay, I guess we'll do this one next. This was one of the ones that I crocheted up, and it was Color Volcano.
This one I thought was pretty as well. Just the colors,
Yeah.
the purples, the oranges, and I'm not sure what that other color is, like a dark plum.
Yeah.
With a little bit of rusty orange in there.
I can see like a lava fiery look.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Sunset maybe. A sunset type of colors.
And I just used a half double crochet because I just think a half double crochet looks really good worked up.
Yeah, I like that. I like those colors.
And there's a close-up.
And that is a full skein of yarn, so go ahead and measure your samples.
Yeah, so it's about 22 by 10.
That at least helps give you an idea. And sometimes measuring the swatches, you're trying to figure out how much yarn you're going to need for a project. And Lion Brand does have some information on their website that tries to help you figure out how much yarn you're going to need for a hat, a scarf, maybe a sweater. But you have to remember that's just a rough estimate. If you're a big size woman like me, of course you're going to need more yarn. They also have a travel mug. I have one in my cupboard that if you get a drink and you're going to the store, it has it listed on the side of the travel mug with how much yarn you're going to need. Oh. So, and you can find that under accessories on Lion Brand's website. And then remember, when you're on Lion Brand's website, if you go to certain yarns, when you're looking at all the different yarns, you'll see a little header that will say patterns made with this yarn and kits made with this yarn. And if you click on either or one of those, you're going to see designs worked up in this yarn. And that also helps when you're trying to choose a yarn for a project. You can look at those patterns and kits and you can determine if that's the colorway you want to use. At least it gives you an idea of what it looks like in an actual finished project.
So the next sample and the last sample, I have to look it up what stitch I used. Okay, so I'm not watching videos or playing games. I was looking up the name of the stitch I used to make this sample. It is Stitch of the Week, the most recent Stitch of the Week, just the other day. It's called the Crawler Stitch. And funny enough, this is the exact same stitch pattern that I'm using to make my baby blanket right now.
Oh.
It's super easy. It's a super easy, it's single, half double, double crochet on the same stitch. And it looks so nice. So let me show you the sample. Actually, I forgot to tell you the yarn. The yarn was Apple Orchard. I don't know about the name, but I can
I was going to say, where'd that name come from? Because I don't picture purple in an apple orchard.
Yeah, I don't know who comes up with the names for these, but yeah.
Looks almost Christmassy to me.
Yeah, I don't know about Apple Orchard, but it is a pretty yarn.
Yeah.
So that's that. And then here's my stitch sample. I didn't use the whole skein. I left a little bit because I was lazy.
We'll measure it anyhow.
But here is the sample. Wow. I like that.
Now, if you go bigger than that, let me take a peek at that real quick, Cody. If you go bigger than that, I think you're going to have more than one color in the same row.
Yeah.
So you have to realize the wider it gets, you're not going to know where those colors are going to lay when it comes back across. So I'm looking at this one because I don't like color pooling. I don't like when you're making a long project like this, where, like, say all this purple down here would all be on one side. I like when the yarn goes across and you can see it on both sides, which this one does on the longer sample. So this one seems to have more colors.
Yeah.
So I really don't know how this would play out if you're making like a wider project. But I know if you make something like this, you're probably going to get this effect. The more narrow for a scarf, like an 8-inch.
Yeah.
So just to give you an idea. And I hope that these videos are helping you decide what yarns you want to use or what you may want to make. Because maybe you see this yarn and you think, oh, I'd love to make a blanket. but then when you see the sample and you think maybe I prefer to make the scarf instead. And there's so many different variations.
Yes.
We're just doing a very tiny sample, but there's so many ways, and we may have to do a video where we take one particular yarn and work it up like several different ways.
Yes, and
to try to discuss that further about how different a stitch pattern, how different the width, all kinds of factors factor into it. And this is just a small segment to at least give you an idea about the yarns and what they may look like.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
So now I'm going to do a wash and dry test. Now I don't do it with every yarn swatch video, but I really felt I wanted to do it for this one. So I'm going to go ahead and do that wash and dry test. I'll be back with the results and I'll show you exactly what happened when I washed it and laid it flat to dry. So now for the wash and dry test. Here's the sample that I'm going to wash and dry. It says machine wash gentle, lay flat to dry. So I'm going to follow the exact instructions. I want to measure my sample first. It's 8 1/4 inches wide and it's 23 1/4 inches long. So I'm going to go throw it in the washer on a gentle cycle. I'm going to lay it flat to dry and then I'll be back and show you the finished results. So I just threw my sample in the washer on a gentle cycle and I laid it flat to dry. Now, when I lay a scarf or something flat to dry, I usually put it in a bath towel and then I kind of like roll it up and squish out the water the best I can. I open it back up and then I try to use my hand when it's wet and form it back into shape. So let's go ahead and see the measurement. It was 8 1/4 inches wide before I put it in the washer and laid it flat to dry. And now it measures 8 inches. So I lost 1/4 inch, so that's not too bad. So the length was 23 1/4 inches long, and now it is 26 inches. So it could have got stretched when I laid it flat to dry. It did stretch because I was kind of like going like this when it was wet. So if I stretched it too far, you're going to add some length to your scarf. It's all about the way you lay it flat to dry. If you stretch it real far or if you try to keep it in shape. And if you want to keep it a certain size, then use a tape measure. I didn't use a tape measure when I laid it flat to dry. That may help to make sure you're not stretching it too far when it's wet so it doesn't stretch when it dries. So when I washed it, it does get a little bit fuzzier. I'm not sure if you're going to see the fuzziness on camera. You can see this fuzziness. I hope you can see it anyhow. I'm trying to move it around to see if you can see it. Let me see if I can see it. I'm not seeing it on the camera, but it does have a fuzziness. It's going to have a fuzziness to the yarn after you wash and dry it. And then here on the edges, I'm not sure if you can see it. I'm hoping you can see it on the yarn because some people like the little bit of the fuzziness and some people do not. And it also depends on how many times you wash this. This was only washed once. So that is the wash and dry test.
Well, I think we covered everything.
I think we did.
So that was our video for the Lion Brand Landscapes, our yarn swatch video. If you enjoy these videos and you like seeing these swatches and these yarns, let us know. What should we do next? Because I don't have anything, well, I have plenty to work on, but I don't have any swatches to work on right now.
Yeah. Now, I will put an affiliate link in the description box underneath this video. I am an affiliate of Lion Brand Yarns. I love their yarns. I use them all the time, and it's just a helpful way of giving you a direct link, and then in turn, it helps my channel to grow and earn a little bit of money to help me get more yarn to do more yarn swatches.
Yeah, so I would appreciate it if you dropped a like on the video and told me down below which one of these yarns was your favorite that you saw today.
So thank you everybody for stopping by today, and until next time, stay inspired and happy crocheting. Bye.